Since the beginning of the pandemic, we haven't missed a beat, and we will hopefully keep convening here for as long as we need to, till we all feel like, we've had the opportunity to get out and actually get into physical spaces. Bonjour from France, Marie. What time is it? It must be like 3, 4, something like that. I thank you. I really bow of gratitude for you to take this time at this really 3:30 in the morning, Marie. Appreciate it so much. So folks, let's get on with the show. So let's start with some breath work. I'm going to reduce this music slightly so you guys, there's no competition between my voice and this beautiful music by my friend Niall Phoenix, who's also from down under, from Melbourne, Australia. He's my musician of choice for all of my meditation gatherings, and so we're going to be listening to him in the background. All right, so what I want you to do is, please, I want you to interlock your fingers. Let's get some stretching. I want your palms facing out. Lift, raise your arms, palms facing up towards the ceiling. Squeeze. As you're squeezing, exhale, look up at the ceiling towards the back of your palms. Inhale as you're dropping it, relax. And now let's do this a couple more times. Interlock your fingers, palms facing out. Inhale as you're raising your arms up. Exhale as you're squeezing your arms up towards the ceiling. And then let's drop them. One more time. Interlock your fingers, pushing out. Exhale. Inhale as you're raising your arms. Exhale as you're squeezing. Notice how my biceps are almost touching my ears. And let go. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get into this rhythmic breathing. And for rhythmic breathing, I want you to please breathe into your abdomen, not into your chest. So I want to see your belly rise and fall. This is called diaphragmatic breathing. This actually, it activates your parasympathetic nervous system. It is your calming response. Versus if you're breathing in from your chest, it is actually creating cortisol. It is your sympathetic nervous system that's getting activated, which is your stress response. So together, inhale for a count of 5. And exhale from the mouth for a count of 5. You're welcome to inhale through the nostrils and exhale either through the nostrils or the mouth. Inhale again for 5. Exhale for 5. Inhale again through the nostrils. And exhale for a count of 5 through the mouth or through the nostrils. Now, I want you to inhale for 5, hold for 7, and exhale for 8. So we're expanding, we're holding, adding some nuances to this meditation through this breathwork pranayama exercise. So 5 in, hold for 7, and exhale through the mouth for 8. A couple more times. Inhale for 5, hold for 7, exhale for 8. Inhale for 5, hold for 7, exhale for 8. All right, so now the next exercise we'll be doing, the next breathwork pranayama exercise we'll be doing is, I want you to take into a deep breath into the belly, and now I want you to hold your breath with your full pair of lungs. I want you to hold your breath, and we're going to rotate our elbows making a big circle, as big and wide of a circle as you possibly can, okay? And then I'm going to ask you to reverse, and what you're going to do is you're going to keep holding your breath, and you're going to reverse. Okay, so again, same thing, making big, wide circles, as big, as broad as you can go. All right, we're going to do 3 rounds of this, and together, let's breathe in, hold, and rotate. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and reverse, holding the breath. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and exhale. Let go. Full cycle of breath in and out. And let's go into round 2. This time, taking a full deep breath in. And rotate forwards first. 5, 6, 7, and reverse, holding your breath. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so now just let go of the breath, just regular breathing, a full cycle of breath in and out. This time, let's inhale and do the 3rd and final round of this exercise. Rotating as big as you can, draw circles with the tips of your elbows. 4, 5, 6, 7, and reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And relax, let go. All right, so the next is the breath of fire, Kapalbhati. And so this is how it's going to look like. I'm going to move my chair back so you guys can see me clearly. Okay, thank you all for confirming you can see me. I appreciate that, so it's not an issue with me. Okay, so here's what it's going to look like. This is using your diaphragm again. So it's belly flapping, so the focus is on the exhale. The exhale is going to be initiated down in that diaphragm. So I want you to be using your diaphragm to thrust the air out, and it's going to be coming out as a short burst. Okay, we're going to be doing, it's going to look like this. I'm going to have my fingers in Vayu Mudra. The tips of my index finger are touching my thumb. They're rested on my lap, palms facing up, and I've taken a full cycle of breath, air in. I'm just, watch it first and then you can follow me, but I'm just doing a demonstration right now. It looks like this. And I know you can't see me because you're not in the same room as me, but here's what's actually happening. If I put an arm on my belly and if I put the other palm right below my nostrils, the only thing that should be happening is this is flapping, and I can feel the air coming out as a jet in the back of my palms. Okay, that's the only thing. Okay, that's what we're doing right now. Okay, so we're gonna do 3 rounds of this. We're going to start with 14, take a little break. We're going to double it to 28, take a little break, and we're going to go to, let's do 48. So yeah, so 14, 28, 48. So 3 rounds, and then we're going to move on to the next set. All right, so together, I want you taking arms rested, palms facing up. Deep breath into the abdomen, 3/4 of a breath out, and first round of 14. And take a break from this exercise, allowing air to just naturally flow in, out. This time take a deep breath in. 3/4 of breath out, and we're going to go into a second round of 28 together. And take a break from this exercise, just regular breathing, inhale Exhale. Inhale. 3/4 of breath out, and last round of 48 together. And we bring that to a closure. You can keep your eyes closed, just feeling the flow of air returning back to its natural rhythm. The cool air flowing into your body, deep into your lungs, opening up the belly. And as you breathe out, it comes out and letting go of as a warm breath. Just observe in these 15 minutes. How do you feel right now compared to when you walked in here? Notice the pace of thoughts in your mind, the ease and the quality of your breath, and the lightness and the tingling that you may be feeling in your entire body. And with your eyes still closed, I want to transition to the workshop with a poem. And this is a poem that I first heard at the very beginning of the pandemic, and I think it is just so appropriate to revisit that time in March 2020. So it goes like this. We fell asleep in one world and woke up in another. Suddenly, Disney is out of magic. Paris is no longer romantic. New York doesn't stand up anymore. And the Chinese wall is no longer a fortress. And the Mecca is empty. Hugs and kisses suddenly became weapons, and not visiting parents and friends became an act of love. Suddenly you realize that power, beauty, and money are worthless and can't get you the oxygen you're fighting for. The world continues its life, and it is beautiful. It only puts humans in cages. I think it's sending us a message. You are not necessary. The earth, the air, the water, and sky without you are just fine. And when you come back, remember that you are my guests, not my masters. So my friends, we are at that time now when some parts of the world, I know some of us are not quite there yet, we are beginning to get back into the world. We are returning, as this poem suggests. The question is, what have we learned? And have we taken the lesson that we are indeed guests that are here for a temporary time? We've been invited, we've been given privileges. We've been blessed with the opportunity to use this while we play out our parts here on this earth. Have we left behind the ego that we are the most dominant race? Have we learnt with humility that we are but one of this massive ecosystem? Everything around us are our brothers and sisters. They are our species, that we are just one of the many, and it is our duty and our responsibility to protect everyone and everything. Everyone's voice is just as important as the other. Everyone's place is just as deserving on this planet as mine. So I did some reading of an interesting Pew Research article. So this is a polling that was done on 915 of the brightest minds. And this research paper, which was several pages long, talked about some of the trends that as we are beginning to open up as a world, as we are beginning to reintegrate, as we're beginning to get out of this lockdown and into the world outside, what are some trends that have happened during the pandemic that are here to stay? Now, I'm going to save you all the trouble, and I'm going to go to summarize this multi-paged report into 6 main points. Okay? And some of them are very positive. So first of all, the fact that we are here using technology at this moment as I speak. Technology has infiltrated every aspect of life. And what technology has done, unfortunately, it has worsened the divide. It's increased the gap of the haves and the have-nots. Because those of us that have had access to technology, have access to data, have access to information in a timely manner, were able to use it and take advantages of the opportunities. Whereas some parts of the world, some parts of even our own society, our neighborhoods, where people did not have access, they fell further behind. And this is a trend that is here to stay. That those of us that do have access to technology, and again, that's a spectrum of what technology is, because there's so many levels of our ability to access technology and its value. So, worsening of the divide of economic inequality. Second, enhancing the power of big technology companies. Now, you've seen, we didn't have a choice but for us to move into platforms, whether it's for our education, whether it's for our shopping, whether it's for our commuting, whether it's our work, whatever it was, entertainment, etc., etc. We relied on a few big companies that controlled how we were able to do business and operate our lives. And then what happens is, by virtue of us handing over the keys to these big companies, they are using very powerful engines, artificial intelligence, to be able to predict what is it that we may want. What is it that we're willing to click and to buy and to subscribe to, etc., etc. So big tech is here to stay, and it is going to play a significant role even as we're walking out of this pandemic. The next big trend that was observed by this research paper was the rampant spread of misinformation. Now, you all have seen some of the elections that have happened in the recent times. Now it has become a war of ideologies. Now there's no emphasis given to what is the truth. Could there be something that I need to understand? Maybe I'm in the blind spot of something. No, everybody's holding on to the opinions, and now social media has become a tool to provide memes, to make them go viral. And so if you have a certain mindset, if you have a certain belief system, guess what? You are going to find things, and things are going to pop up on your social media feed that are going to reiterate, that are going to make you believe that what you believe is absolutely right, and you don't need to change, you don't need to listen to anybody else. So rampant spread of misinformation is one of the unfortunate aspects of this pandemic, what we've seen in the last 15 months, and it is something that is here to stay unless we work on making a significant change in the public policy around that. Now, some of the other aspects is social reform, justice, and discrimination. As you've seen, that the George Floyd case, which is about a year old now, it went around viral around the globe. People saw it, people got up, people demonstrated, people asked for justice, and we saw in the recent news that that policeman that was responsible for that heinous crime was brought to justice. Something that you could not have imagined in this country where I'm sitting here in the United States even a few years ago, where policemen that were recorded, that were actually caught on camera, were let go. So one of the trends is here to stay is that people are able to organize for justice reform, for equality, right? So that's a trend that we can expect to see will keep growing. People's voices, even the minority voices, have a platform and will be heard. Now, the next aspect is there's been an enhancement of the quality of life. simply by the fact of we having so many conveniences. We're telecommuting, we're teleeducating, telemedicine, etc., and all of these things, this wonderful gift of being able to have access of technology at the tips of our fingers, the convenience of our bedrooms, living rooms, what have you, have given us the gift of time. Otherwise, we would have to go and search. Maybe some of us would have to travel long distances to be able to get those privileges, get access to those services. They're all now moving on to the internet, by which we are able to have a more broader adoption of these very essential technologies, very essential services. The next is the enhancements technology has done, such as doing virtual reality, augmented reality, being able to provide real experiences, significant experiences from the convenience of our homes. Now, this is a trend that we have been seeing even much before the pandemic. We've seen that shopping was going online, entertainment was going from the arenas into our living rooms, education was slowly moving from classrooms into people's laptops, computers, in the convenience of their home. And that trend, those trends that are already in place, have only been accelerated because of the pandemic and the adoption of technology. So clearly, there are some things that are working really well for us and some things that we need to be cautious about. And I'm going to talk about, for the next few minutes, I'm going to talk about 4 things that are very necessary for us to observe, for us to be paying attention to, such that we don't get overrun by these mega machines that are controlling every aspect of our life, controlling every aspect of our interaction. Okay. Now, I want to say this. While the onslaught of technology, the tsunami that we've seen, even the last 20 years, of course, accelerated during the pandemic, has many benefits. One of the things that we have to keep in mind is the bigger arc of the human evolution. And what I mean by that is, yes, we have access to technology unlike ever before. With the tips of our fingers, we have access to very, very powerful information where we can make choices, where things that can sway the opinions of people can change people's lives. But think about this. The brain is still in the Paleolithic age. We have systems here in our community, in our society, that are medieval. For example, the court system, the criminal justice system here where I sit in the United States. Some of our education systems are still very medieval. And then we have godlike power in our tools and technology. Think about it. So we're using Paleolithic mindset with medieval systems and godlike weapons to execute our wishes, our wants, our desires. So what is that going to do? We have incredible power to change the face of how we know the arc of humanity, where it's going. So folks, as we embark into this openness, as we embark into getting out of this lockdown, out into the world, I want to talk about 4 things that are very important that we think about, that we talk about, and we do everything that we possibly can to make sure that things do not take off out of control. So what are those 4 things? Number 1, human connection. Now, we've all felt the brunt of this. When March 15th to 2020 happened, at least here in the United States, that was the day when we went to official lockdown. There was an instant verdict, there was an instant ruling that we're not allowed to meet people, we're not allowed to go out, shelter at home, mandatory orders. We couldn't visit family, we couldn't visit loved ones, we couldn't participate in birthdays, weddings, etc., etc. Now that has taken a toll on us. Now by the gift of technology, there has been some solace in that we were still able to connect with people. We were still able to have conversations, video chats, teleconferences, etc. And even the gift of doing things like this, where you have this massive gathering of meditators that are literally all over the world congregating here and meditating together, talking about things of the heart together. Now, as we step out of this pandemic, one of the possibilities is that the power that we wielded in the hands of these big data companies, these technology giants, they're not just going to let it go. They're not just going to relinquish it. They want to hold on to it. It's their bottom line. It's their profit. And for them, quarter-to-quarter growth, year-over-year growth is everything for them. That's paramount. And they will do anything, any trick in the book to keep you glued to their technologies. This is something, folks, where we have to take this and we have to grab this by both hands and say, this is something that is for my own well-being. Personal interactions, hugs, kisses, holding space with one another, dancing together, singing together in person is something that is priceless. And there's no way of measuring the value it can have on your mental well-being, on my mental well-being, on our mental well-being. So even as these things, the symptoms and the lockdown will start to wane down, the rules will start to loosen up, and as we begin to go out, I want you to pay notice to this. Are there residual effects? Has there been changes? Has there been a inertia for you to want to stay disconnected, meaning physically, and still want to connect with people virtually like we are doing right now? Because remember, everything is a habit. It takes 21 days and we've been in this thing for what, 15 months? So clearly this has become a habit, and then there are forces out there that will want us to keep playing in this way, for us to be interacting in this way. But that'll have eventually an emotional and a mental toll on us as a human race, as us as a society. So it's important for us to pay attention to that, and that we human beings are gregarious. We are more like the herd of elephants than like the lone wolf. So it is to our best interest for us to find ways to congregate again. The second thing is around privacy. Needless to say, it's a cat and mouse game. As much as there's been billions of dollars poured into inventing and creating ways of creating privacy, and all of these entrepreneurs come out and say, we've made our technology more private than ever before. There's lots of rules and regulations and so on. But if you watch this documentary, Social Dilemma, you have some of the insiders who've come out and become whistleblowers. They've said how much of our data, our information, our rights are being violated. Edward Snowden is another person who's still in exile in Russia because of his whistleblowing. So privacy will be an issue. So when you're engaging with technology, you should be prepared to know that your life is now public, at least public to some people. It may not be public to you and me, but the people who are watching, observing, and trying to take advantage of the data that they have because of your presence online, it is being used. And it is a challenge. It is something. So the way you're going to protect yourself is basically create Sabbaths, is basically shut things down, disconnect, unplug, leave things behind, and just go back to congregating, convening, doing things out there like we used to do some years ago. Okay? So privacy is something that is going to be paramount, and some of us are more concerned about it than others. Some people will say, you know what, it doesn't bother me, I don't have anything to hide. But ask yourself, if it's something that's sensitive, that's something that bothers you, then it is something for you to pay attention to, how much you are allowing your life to become known to these forces. The next aspect is truth. As I mentioned a little while ago, there are these authoritarian governments, there are forces, there are people with money who are willing to use technology as a way of selling their opinion, skewing things in their favor, making you believe that your belief system is actually validated because it matches with theirs, right? So there is very few checks and balances out there in the information that we're consuming today, especially in the realm of social media, of validation, verification, and authentication, if indeed that which is going viral, that information that's being consumed by people, has any basis of truth in it. So then it becomes important for us to know, for us to be aware, to be wise, to say that, am I reading something that could be completely based on false premises? And we need to lobby for our governments, starting at the local government all the way to the top, to bring about those policies in our systems, in our government, in our technology companies, such that there is some way of validating, just like even a few years ago, journalism required themselves to authenticate the story. They had to validate, they had to be peer reviewed. But today, anybody cooks up something in a jiffy, and before you know it, it's posted and it's gone viral. It's hit millions of people around the globe, and people are starting to believe that. So truth is an aspect that, as we're coming out of the pandemic, it is something for us to observe, as to see what is the authenticity of the source of this information that I'm reading, I'm consuming, I'm believing right now. And with that, the fourth aspect is related, which is around polarization. Now, while technology as such has been a great unifying force, it's been a great way for us to integrate, for us to connect, it has also been used as a way of separating, marginalizing, causing xenophobia in parts of the world. So it is up to us whether you're going to use a technology. Technology is technology. A tool is a tool. It is the person, it is the consciousness behind the using of the tool that will determine whether it's used for good or for bad. So polarization is a possibility, and when we see discrimination, when we're seeing somebody being particularly being the object of wrath, the object of discrimination, conscious vilification, it is for us to speak up. Because in the words of Martin Luther King, staying quiet basically means you're on the side of the perpetrators of the evil. So let's learn to bring our voice out, to speak up when we see something wrong, when we see injustice around us, when we see somebody being discriminated, when somebody is being racially harassed because of something that they cannot change. It's not their fault. So these are the aspects that I want you to please think about: the human connection, the privacy, truth, and polarization. And now I want to transition into a meditation. And today's meditation is something I'm going to do in a very unique way compared to all of my previous sessions. I'm actually going to read for you another beautiful poem that I came across that I think illustrates the point that as we're beginning to integrate back into the world, open up from this quarantine, what are some things that we need to keep in mind? So I want you to please close your eyes if you feel comfortable, or just downshift your gaze. Arms rested, shoulders dropped, jaw relaxed. Taking in some nice, deep, comfortable breaths. Breathing deep into the belly. And allowing what the body does not need to be let go. Making sure with each exhalation that you're relaxing every part of the body. Let there be no tightness. Let there be complete ease and softness. This is a poem that's called Kindness by Naomi Shihab Nye. Before you know what kindness really is, you must lose things. You must feel the future dissolve in a moment, like salt in a weakened broth. What you held in your hand, what you counted and carefully saved, all this must go, so you know how desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness. How you ride and ride thinking the bus will never stop. The passengers eating maize and chicken will stare out of the window forever. Before you learn the tender gravity of kindness, you must travel where the Indian in a white poncho lies dead by the side of the road. You must see how this could be you, how he too was someone who journeyed through the night with plans, and the simple breath that kept him alive. Before you know kindness as the deepest thing inside, you must know sorrow as the other deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow. You must speak to it till your voice catches the thread of all sorrows, and you see the size of the cloth. Then it is only kindness that makes sense anymore. Only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you out into the day to gaze at bread. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, "It is I you have been looking for." And then goes with you everywhere, like a shadow or a friend. My friends, allow these words to trickle deep into your psyche and let them find a place inside your soul, into that loving core of your being. I want you to feel that the most appropriate response in most situations is kindness. And as you focus on the love that you are, from where this kindness emerges, a love, that glow of that radiance of love to emerge from you as a beautiful ball of light that spreads in all directions. As it fills your body space, as it expands and goes out and radiates out from your body and surrounds and envelops your body. And as a beacon of love, it travels through space, infiltrating the air, the water, the earth, carried by the wind far and wide. As I have realized at the core of my being that I am love, so is everyone on this planet. And as my light spreads out and connects the dots, creating this vast network, this beautiful tapestry of lights, we're connecting with the essence of our being, the reason that we're here on this earth, which is to experience and express the love that we are. And I want you to please bring your hands together, palms at the heart center in prayer position. I want you to please rub your palms against each other, creating an energy vortex, a chi ball between your palms, feeling the heat as you're kindling this energy. And once you have an optimum amount of this chi generated, I want you to cup your eyes, one eye with one palm, and bless yourself. May complete peace prevail in my life. May I be guided by truth. And may all obstacles and suffering in my life be removed. And now I want you to please turn your palms out, facing the world, sending out a blessing from this place of compassion. I want you to think of someone, a group of people, or some place that needs this positive energy right now. There's war-torn areas, there's people suffering with the pandemic where it's going relentless, ravaging the country. Or it could be somebody else that you know that really needs it right now. And I want you to please send this blessing, radiating out from the palms of your hands like a beacon of light. May they experience peace in their being. May they be guided by truth. May all suffering and obstacles in their life be removed. Bringing our palms back to the heart center together. And let's take a bow of gratitude for everyone and everything that made this moment possible. And I want you to please observe how you're feeling right now. And if you could put that in one word, what would that be? And I want you to please share that one word with us in this chat window. As you gently, at your own pace, open up your eyes, reintegrate, come back into this beautiful circle of our global family. I'm seeing heart, I'm seeing enlightened, I'm seeing tight, peaceful, hopeful, grateful, surrender or harmony. Thank you. With a grateful heart, love, gratitude, peace, moved, peace, compassion, gratitude, tranquility. Beautiful, folks. I'm feeling worried. Jeff, I hear you, brother. Centered, humble, gratitude, oneness. Excellent, excellent. I see this profound transformation. I'm feeling centered. Great. I'm feeling ease. I'm feeling troubled. Yes, yes. I recognize every one of them. There's no right or wrong. Every one of your emotions, every one of your feelings is valid. It's honest, and I appreciate your vulnerability to be expressing it. It's not just the roses and the unicorns that we talk about here. We want to talk about the difficult things, the hardships, our uncertainties, our fears. So thank you for opening up and sharing this with us. Go ahead and ask any questions, folks, that you want to talk about. And I also want to acknowledge that while you're thinking and typing up your questions, can you put this meditation on Insight Timer, please? Yeah, sure. It's recorded. It's on YouTube, so it's not just Insight Timer, but I don't know how many of a billion people that watch YouTube can watch this thing. So, Charisse, can you please go to my YouTube channel? It's youtube.com/jchodagam. So that's all of these Wednesday nights are always recorded. I haven't missed a beat. All 77 episodes that I've done from the beginning of the pandemic are there, including this one will be up. So give me a couple of days, it should be up. So, well, thank you, by the way. That really means a lot to me that you liked this meditation. Today was very much of an improvisation. It always is an improvisation, but today I really went on a limb because I felt like that the poetry would be very apt to close our discussion on this very uncertain, as many of you said, scary subject. We're sitting at this brink of a new moment in the history of mankind as we're opening up from one of the biggest catastrophes that we've experienced in our lifetimes. And so we have to be walking very cautiously. We know we have to take appropriate responses. We have to take appropriate action such that we don't lose our way in the midst of this transition that we're going through right now. What's the name of the poet? It's Naomi Shihab Nie. So let me type that for you. So that way, it's called, the title of the poem is Kindness. And also, folks, I just want to also honor and thank you for your donations, for your support. It means a lot to me. That's how we keep offering these programs and these live sessions and recorded sessions and all of the YouTube I mentioned. All of these programs keep happening because of your financial support. So whatever little you can do, it's just an exchange of energy. I share what I can offer you, you share what you can, so that more people can benefit from around the world. So I also mentioned to you about the retreat that I'm hosting. For those of you who just joined after I made the initial announcement, I'm hosting my first in-person retreat where we can hold and hug and all of that. The weekend of July 4th, which is a public holiday here in the United States. I know for some parts of the world it means nothing. But we had to start somewhere, and I'm here in this part of the world that we call the USA. So we're going to be doing it in Marin County, California, starting on Friday, July 2nd, going through Monday, July 5th. And it's all publicly posted. You can go to my website. I highly encourage you, please subscribe to my website, because I have a number of offerings that I keep doing, whether it's live sessions and retreats, different workshops, recordings. I always share my recordings. That's a great way for you to find out about things upcoming and also past events that I've done. And so it's on my website, Find Within, spelled as FINDWITH.in. And if you go to that website, you will be able to subscribe to the newsletter at the bottom. Also, if you want to go check out about the retreat, it's on the retreats page. I believe there's one early bird ticket still available. The rest of it all got sold out very quickly when I opened it up a couple of weeks ago. So find within. So Jay, is the retreat in Yellowstone? No, it's going to be in Marin County, California. It's it's somewhere like about 2 hours away from where I live. We're just trying to keep it easy, Jay. We're just trying to slowly ease out of this pandemic. And I know you are down in New Zealand. And by the way, I have found a place down in New Zealand. Just so you know, your beautiful country was the last place I was literally a few days before the lockdown. I was actually down there scouting for a venue. And if you know Punakaiki in South Island, there's a retreat center very close to that. Just a gorgeous piece of paradise on earth. I know I will be coming back there to do a retreat, so please stay tuned. Sign up to my website. I told you to sign up to my newsletter, so please, that way we can keep in touch. That way, you know, when I do have something in planned, you will be informed of it. So I definitely want to come back to do something in New Zealand. And likewise, I told this lady from Vietnam, I was planning to do something in Hoi An. I will be going back to Italy. My dear brother who owns this 550-acre estate in a place called Gubbio, he wants me to come back. I don't know if he's listening right now, Piero, but I think it's like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. I know, Marie, thank you for putting the time. So yeah, I don't think my Italian friends are watching me right now, but I will be going back to Gubbio. Kathy, nothing for UK at the moment. The one that I do know I'll be doing is in Italy. That's closest to you. I'll be doing so definitely in South America. So in Mexico, Cabo San Lucas, Baja California. I know my friends can't wait. They've been asking me, Jay, when are you going to come down there? So there's this pristine beach resort that a friend of mine owns, and it's a little village called La Ventana. Italy, Marie, we don't know yet. So please stay tuned. Again, Marie, please go to my website, sign up to my newsletter. You will be informed, because you don't know how this thing is going to go. As you see what's happening in my home country, India, right now, this pandemic has come back, is slapping people, has really devastated the whole system. It's come down to its knees. People are like scrambling for oxygen. They don't have PPE. They don't have ventilators. So we don't know. So I don't want to make any commitments. All I can tell you is that, you know, this particular place that I did find in Marin County, it's a very spacious place. It can actually hold about 26 people, but we're allowing only 15 because we're trying to keep it socially distanced. We're using all of the Sangha rooms, all the meeting places. We're trying to do as much of it outdoors. They have a beautiful outdoor dining place under a arbor. So we're going to use that for our meals and convening and so on. So we're very slowly tiptoeing back. So I don't want to make any of these wild plans of going to New Zealand and Italy and South America and this and that yet. So we'll see. You know, we're just grateful that we can even congregate like this. We can connect online, and we're able to continue holding each other. We're able to support each other emotionally and mentally. Australia, please, once possible. So Sigrid, I have to come and check out. Although having said that, I was there in your country, and I did visit a couple of retreat centers, one in Wollongong and one in the Blue Mountains. Gorgeous places, both of them. Wollongong is probably a little bit higher on my list because I'm a kite surfer, so I always kind of have the soft corner for water. Sending healing, love, and light from India. Teresa, thank you so much. Oh, to India, okay. Yes, we all sending you. That was my prayer, by the way, when I sent the blessings out, when I asked you to put your hands out and send a blessing. So India was definitely on the top of my list of places that need the light, need hope, need the strength and courage right now. So indeed, thank you for the blessings. So folks, so that's what's going on. And also I do one-on-one coaching. If you want to find out, you can click on my little, you see my little photo there in the bottom right corner with the icon that says live. That's how you're going to be able to find out about my one-on-one coaching. 9:55 p.m. in Maryland. So happy, and definitely is a relaxing but very thoughtful time before going to bed. Hopefully that the meditation help you to relax. Thank you, Katie. I appreciate it. I heard kiwis like less sugar. A lot is oversweetened in the States. Doing my best to cut back on sugar, indeed. Oh my God, guys. I mean, New Zealand is such an amazing country. You know, I was like, you know, like I told you, I returned back to the United States 6th of March and 15th of March was the lockdown, right? And I was actually contemplating, I said, if there's one place on the planet where I would rather be quarantined, it would be New Zealand. I don't know if you know the statistics. There's 5 million people in that country and 25 million sheep. Sit with that for a second. Where I live in San Francisco Bay Area, there's 6 million people. I think 8 million people just in the metropolitan Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. 8 million people just in this one, one part of California. And they've got 5 million people. So you talk about social distancing, there cannot be a more appropriate place for that. And the Kiwis do so many things. I mean, I don't want to make this whole thing about the Kiwi, my going on a soapbox, but I mean, talk about nature being, spread out. I mean, there's so much of spaciousness. They haven't basically butchered the whole countryside by building all of these megalithic, monolithic structures and concrete jungles. There's so much still wild that you just need to explore either by foot, or you have to do camping, backpacking, or you drive your car, and there's preserved so much of the nature. And as you see, the obvious result of it is one of the first countries to come out of lockdown was the Kiwis. So hats off. I love your Prime Minister. She's such a beacon of hope amongst all of the chaos. And I talked about the polarization and the misinformation campaigns that are being used as a political gain by many politicians around the world. But your Prime Minister is doing a fabulous job. Amazing woman. Why do you live in the United States? I don't know, man. You talk about karma. Kath, I've had this reflection, if you haven't watched my TED Talk, please do watch it. I don't have time because we're at the top of the hour. But there I share my entire story. Believe it or not, I came to the United States when I was 22, and I found my spiritual awakening in Texas. In Texas, of all of the places. I grew up in South India, a spiritual mecca. And I find myself, I wake up in Texas, right? There is a reason. There's a time, there's a method, there's a place for everything to happen. And I believe it. I believe that I have karma with this land, and I've come here. I have to do my work, first heal myself, and I need to heal my brothers and sisters here. As you know, we've got our fair share of problems. We've got a great set of issues that we need to resolve in this country. And I feel like my purpose, my place, I've been put here. I don't think that it's my choice that I woke up, that I'm doing the work that I do. I'm an engineer by training. Again, if those of you who've been following me, I have an undergrad degree in chemical engineering, master's in petroleum. I worked in computer science for 12 years. And then one day I just woke up 22nd of January 2012 and said, you know what? I've not been put on this earth to create and sell software. There is a bigger calling. And that's when I veered into this path. It hasn't been a quiet moment. It hasn't been a dull day since that day 9 years ago. And I just feel fully alive. I feel fully aligned. I feel I'm just being a hole in the flute, as I say. We're just instruments in the hands of the greater force, the supreme being, call it by whatever name you want. And so I'm just playing my part, my dear. So it's not my choice. I'm doing my thing. Yeah, so my TED Talk, if you're looking for it, it's called Being Before Doing. And if you Google my name, you should find all of that. I wonder why I woke up at 3:03. I don't know, Marie. Maybe you had to be. There's, again, a time and a place and a reason for everything. Thank you, though, for being here. Merci beaucoup. So, folks, I loved this conversation. Thank you for all the active questions, the participation, the donations. Again, so stay in touch. I gave you multiple ways in which you can keep in touch with me. And I want to hear, by the way, I don't have a topic for next Wednesday. So thank you, Susan, for posting this idea. So I have a group on this app. It's a circle called Meditate with Jay. And that's a great place, folks, for you to nominate the topic for next Wednesday. Susan was a nominee for this topic. And thank you for that, as clearly you guys really enjoyed it. So go ahead and just let your ideas keep coming in, and I will take them as they come, and we'll keep discussing, we'll keep holding hands, we'll keep meditating together. And I want you to please go out there, shine your light, be happy, be strong, and be well.